This panel, entitled The Role of Information in Democratic Resilience, we will reflect on last year's super election year, in which over 1 billion people elections shape political economy stories. Their implementations will also deeply influence artificial intelligence. As Gen AI continues to reshape governance at both global and local levels, national stakeholders, their coordination policy agendas of the information. To help us delve deeper topic, we are four distinguished co-founder from Factlink Taiwan, and then Rahmat Fauzi, political and public policy analyst at Pilkada.in, Bu Michelle Anindya, Karim, lecturer and Department of Politics and. We will begin today's session with Ms. Summer Chan, who will share her perspectives on by disinformation from Taiwan's 2024 strategies. Without further ado,
takes my English. Introduce myself. I'm the founder of Factlink. Team of researcher. How AI was used, and also we are literacy and past 5 chief editor of Taiwan. But this year I information because so we need has new methodology and count the AI information. That's what the Factlink. So it's my outline today. So first of all, I will back to 2024. What's going on in 2024? We encountered the first wave of AI disinformation. And I will share how our law enforcement and the civil society responds and do the preparation against the AI disinformation. And I will also share the lessons we learned. And finally, we will see what's currently battle force that we are in. Next. So first of all, I will back to 2024. Next. Okay, 2024 is a global election year, and many countries highlight how the AI generated and the deepfake make a huge impact in our during the election. However, that doesn't happen because the malicious actor, they are still in training. They are also a team. They are training themselves. They are learning the new AI skill. So Taiwan's presidential election was happened on January. So, so there are only 3 kinds of AI disinformation we are finding. And the first kind is they will mimic the celebrity or influenced voice. They will do the voice cloning and spreading the recording or audio on social platform with a very with a photo. So it's one kind, the first kind, and the other kind is an altered footage and with the cloned voice. So actually, when the disinformers are quite good at altering footage. So that indicates they are learning one skill at one time. So they are learning how to cloning voice at that time. So they do the editing and then with the cloned voice. And the third time is they use the AI generated video and with the digital news anchors. But I think it's more interesting than the traditional video from Contents Farm, but it's also not quite vivid and attractive. So those 3 kinds of AI disinformation didn't make a huge impact, and they didn't reach a large number, and also they didn't spreading oversight by the mainstream media. So their impact is quite limited. And but during that time, not only our government but also the civil society took a lot of prevention action to fight against the disinformation. So what do they do next? So for the government side, the legal they first of all they amended the essential laws. So by the amendment of our electoral laws, both candidate or the public can file claims, and the law enforcement need to do the analysis and verify it quickly. And if it was found that it's AI generated or deepfake footage, then the Central Election Committee need to inform the platform or the television station or the media outlet to remove it with 2 days. Otherwise, they will get fines. And the next. Okay, and during the election, how do they do the preparation and how do they execute it? Before the election, the law enforcement published the law research with case study, and they do a lot of capacity building for prosecutors nationwide. And then during the election, they build up a dedicated nationwide processing center. It's around 27 and staffed with very, very experienced prosecutors. And also the Central Election Committee, they try to connect the tech company, including YouTube, Meta, and Line's company, because they are popular in Taiwan. And the TikTok is also very popular in Taiwan, but they don't set up any branch in Taiwan. So CEC contact them via their advertising agent. And the next. And what the civil society do is the government side and also the civil society make their efforts. And at that time, I was the chief editor of Taiwan Fact Check Center. We collaborate with two institutes. And the first one is the Institute for Information in Industrial. They connect the AI verified and the AI tools experts to fact checkers. So that means before the election, we has already got a ready list of experts. They can help the journalist and also the fact checker to verify, to explain and share their insights. And the second is we collaborate with National Institute of Cybersecurity. And they help us to build the guideline and also tools on a platform. And they do a lot of training to fact checkers. So that's quite important because it's not a commercial things. So if there is no academic institute well devoted to those tools invention, there is no one to support a journalist and a fact checker. So next. And also, because we has already got the connection, we has a ready list of experts. And also we have a guideline and the AI debunking knowledge. So what's the next we will do is we do the education. We do the capacity building training for media and the fact checkers. So during the election, we host 2 workshops. One is for the chief editor. We need to gear up the chief editor that then have the sense of AI literacy. So the first workshop is just the 20 chief editor from different media. And next will be just training the trainer. So we are pretty focused on training school teachers and the college university teachers. So those teachers will help us do the AI literacy and the media literacy at the same time. So they bring those media literacy, AI literacy ideas and the materials back to the campus for the young generation and also for the elder people. Next. So after those 2024 election, so what lesson we have? Also, I think the law enforcement has already done very well. That's because they are well prepared. But actually, they are still facing the ongoing challenge for the next election. So what's the ongoing challenge? First of all, actually the social platform responds very slowly to take down the request because it's a global headquarter and they have their own policy. So even we have the law, but actually it's not very efficient. And the second is the law, not only the law enforcement, but also the fact checkers, journalists, both sides are lack of AI verification tools, especially the AI disinformation was developing every day so fast, and the tools was invented so slowly, and also is always far behind from the developing. And the other difficulty, well, it's pretty hard to trust the source of this informer. And the very interesting point to mention is it's the deepfake false denial problem. That means some politicians, they are real, but hacked photo was released, and they will claim, oh, they are deepfake. It's not me, it's deepfake. So when they filed the claim, and the law enforcement think it's real, but because if they announce that it's real, it may cause a political fallout. So they will stay silent. And because they are silent, so it's made it tricky because the media, the opposite camp, they will question the law enforcement are unfair. Why did you release the result? Next. Okay, and now what's going on in 2025? Next. In 2025, the AI technology developing so soon and very well. So based on our digital intelligence analysis at DoubleThink Lab, which is the best, one of the best in Taiwan, they are observed that there are four kinds of AI manipulate AI information manipulate now. The first one is the AI for deception, but they only see, they just observed it just very few cases. And the second one is AI for political means. So I will share, we just published a new research about this. And the third one is AI as a back actors, very good secretary or assistants. And the last one is the AI for automation. And based on DoubleThink Lab, they just see how the disinformer didn't use the AI for automation. Maybe it's, we are not detected yet, but so they are still do the investigation. So next. So what is AI for deception? Is the way we are thinking that will be very powerful and damage in 2024, but it didn't happen in 2024 because the technology are still developing. But now it's pretty easy to be true and it's easy to use. Is easy to produce. So we can see this video. I will show this video. It's a real photo. You just upload a real photo. Then it will do voice cloning and lip matching. So you can get those fake video easily. So it's our president and other officials dialogue, and we can see our president.
有4万人会因为你减薪失业，你知不知道？郑大小姐，20%叠加起来不都接近30%了吗？
我都从32%谈到20%了啊！我也是后来才知道是叠加的。
你怎么这么北七啊，郑小姐？你为什么不学日本，直接飞过去找美国谈？20%很光荣哦，我替台湾人民谢谢你哦。我们把这么多东西都送出去，你才谈个20%回来，还是叠加的。你是不是从来没去过菜市场买菜讲过价？菜市场阿嬷去美国都能谈到15%了啦！啊，你到底是怎么搞的？
我也没有办法啊，我也尽力了啊。我们台湾能送的就这么多。
823罢免活动被你搞得肯定又要落赛了啦！大家现在都不是以美论了，大家现在是仇美论了。我们这么爱美的政党还怎么做下去？民进党干脆解散好了啦！这次被你搞得我现在出门了，我都不好意思说我孙子是美。有4万人会因为你减薪。
So what we are worried about is more cheaper and more easy produced. It's the normal daily life. So if the number is increasing and floating on the social media, I think it's pretty hard for audience to tell it's real, just the real photo, a real footage, or the manipulate or fabricate footage. And the second is AI for political means. And those kind of meaning is, we call it mini clip. Why? Because it's only 5 seconds, and there is no story. And I think last year for the Indonesia election, the candidate used those kind of the AI to produce the very cute cartoon-like me in our cartoon-like figure to attract the young generation. But recently, it means the different way. Recently, we have a recall vote, and the actors use the very strong, simple, and the strong image to smack or smear the opposite camp, smack the supporters, and they created a very funny and a very strong image, to a strong symbol. So can I, next one? So I will show you the video, and those kind of mini clips are spreading on Reels, and so the viewer is by millions. However, its follower is just 10,000. So you can see how those very simple but images strong. But it make a psychological impact. So I think it's the new phenomena that we need to watch. So the next one. I think those kind of mini clips bring two kind of challenge. One kind of challenge is how do we study information manipulation, because the reels are hard to track, and when we do the data scraping, we waste a lot of energy and the resource because they can generate it low cost and a huge number. And also, there is no tools for us. We need invent a new tool to trace them. And the other challenge is media literacy and the fact checking and the AI literacy, because usually we will educate all the public, say, how did you tell it's AI or not AI? We are pretty focused on AI and the non-AI. However, all the mini clips are fake. We know it's fake, but it still has a huge psychological impact. So that means when we do the media literacy, when we do the fact checking, we need to have another methodology so that otherwise we can't handle this new kind of information operation. So next one. Okay, so but because we are in the AI age, so but thinking positively, AI also bring more possibility. So we need embrace the AI technology to help us decoding information operation, and also collaborate. And what we need to do, and the next. Based on our 2024 experiments, we think there are two missions or two things are pretty important, especially the AI information operation was more crucial than before. And the one thing is we need to build an expert network. And the expert network including tech, AI verified or AI tech experts, and also fact checkers, journalists, and data analysts. We need to work together, share our tools, share our insight, and learn together. So the network is even more important than before. And the other thing is we need to extend media literacy because in Taiwan we have a strong media sense of awareness. Our public has a very strong awareness of media literacy. However, now we need to extend from media literacy to AI literacy. So we will do more training to the media and also to the teachers at this stage. Thank you.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rahmat from Pilkada.ai. Tools in Pilkada. To discuss about AI, this is very interesting, but I will about their experience AI in political context. Before this, Pilkada AI is an enterprise focused to develop AI technology. We also analyze issue, social, politic, and public policy issues. Okay, we are full with generative AI. Why we use generative AI? Why we use AI? Looks like a baby. Means looks like a little baby. We can teach. We can train as a trainer. We can give data. We can give instruction. We can give prompting. While we give data, while we give good prompting, yeah, good instruction, with good perspective, like health and politics perspective. As I am thinking, AI have good analyze, not excellent, yeah, good analyze. Because AI is a technology as a tools. AI will be not replace human tasks. AI cannot not replace human tasks. Cannot exchange moral test human. AI cannot analyze like human with a perspective. AI is a technology. It's a point. In Pilkada AI context, why we develop product, we develop technology AI to politik in Indonesia context, because in 2019 I gave data from Ministry of Home Affairs of the Republic Indonesia atau Mendagri ya bahasa yang saya dapatkan. Okay. Means the election national or local election was include to win a mayoral region and gubernatorial election range between 20 billion till 100 billion. This is very, very expensive. This is why we developing technology, we utilize AI, a dashboard. Take a dashboard, a political consultant. Dashboard can use to stakeholders, can use to political candidate and stakeholders to use here from Pilkada AI must be assistant as a human to give perspective. Okay, focus to developing big data driven AI technology designed for assist political candidates. And usually we can handle stakeholders, NGO, and more policymakers to monitoring and analyze social, politic, and public issue with how we can analyze social and politic public issues. We analyze data based on social media, like TikTok, like Twitter, like Facebook, like YouTube, online news, and so on. This is just about my dashboard, our dashboard, yeah. Pilkada AI, our dashboard, component our dashboard established consists of data open source and algorithm computation. In Pilkada AI, we have more human resource from politic and analyze, social and analyze. We have expertise. We have expertise in mathematics. We have expertise from information technology or from IT, I think. Okay, we are combine perspective. We are combine methods to use to develop dashboard. The dashboard in Pilkada AI looks like guidance or looks like compass for political candidates. Yeah, I know. We know more. Okay, before I'm describe about dashboard. This is main point. The dashboard, we get dashboard, we get some data from data open source data from KPU or National Election Commission, yeah, and then from National Food Agency, Badan Pangan, and Indonesian Statistic Agency, and more data from more ministry in Indonesia. We get data. Data is open source. We can get it. We can use it. We can utilize data of open source to source our dashboard. Okay. Okay. This is about. Yeah, I know. In AI in Indonesia have more challenge, and I agree with this. But this is more regulation about AI in Indonesia. I think more regulation AI in Indonesia. Indonesia have more policy, but I think not yet legally binding. this is a problem. Yeah, we know this is a problem, but I hope after this we can give some materials and give recommendation for the government. We can give recommendation to executive or legislative how to make good regulation for AI. Indonesia have AI roadmap, but not synchronized with not synchronized with not synchronized with landscape, social landscape, or not synchronized with Indonesian context. We know in Indonesia have rural, we have urban, and we have big gap among generation. AI for more people looks like alien, looks like a new technology. Okay. We know, but I hope Indonesia government can make more policy to give advice how to give advice how we use AI. Yeah, I think. Okay. We have 6 regulation about AI. Kominfo Circular of Letter di sini, yang mana di sini masih sifatnya surat edaran ya. Lalu yang selanjutnya, and then law number 1 on information and electronic transaction, and third government regulation number 71 about Indonesia tentang penyelenggaraan sistem transaksi elektronik, and Kominfo Circular, this is sifatnya masih edaran juga, and yeah, we have law about AI, law number 7, 2020 and 13 on general election about prohibition on the use of artificial intelligence in election. More regulation, yeah. My point, more regulation, 6 regulation about AI in Indonesia, not yet legally binding. Yeah, this is a challenging for us. Next. Yang sebelumnya dulu ya. Okay. This is a context how to we use our dashboard to assistant one of in local election, I think. We know yeah, we have a research question. What is the strategy methods are utilized by political candidates to achieve success in election? We know, means political makes a campaign, how to campaign in election, national election or local election, usually use instinct. With our product, with our dashboard, I know I optimize. Politician can make decision, can use our dashboard. Why? Because my dashboard, our dashboard is data driven approach that both cost efficient and financially accessible. Okay. Usually, example. If in election we need 20 billion, but with our dashboard, we can efficient until I think 50%. Why? You know, usually political candidate campaign likes a Sinterklaas, yeah, give money, give more money to society, to citizen. Then usually, why you give the money for society, for citizen? Because, yeah, because I know the local context. I know because this is my experience. I know because this is my instinct. Yeah. This is their opinion, but in my mind, we can make a winning in election, national election, or we can winning in local election if we combine AI technology and data. My points, database is a most important how to make a good, how to make a ideal campaign, how to make ideal recommendation for local politician to campaign in the field. I think it is. Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is our product. Sorry, this is a local contact. This is why we use in bahasa. But we have the product with in English. Yeah. But waktunya nanti tipis ya. Okay. So we know this is more feature in we dashboard. Beranda is information about sorry. Bisa next sebentar ya. Nah, this is Beranda. Beranda give information about DPT. DPT in bahasa Inggris itu apa DPT itu istilahnya ya? In politik. Apa? DPT itu apa ya? Hah? Voter list. Yeah, maybe this is data about voters in 20 and 25. Yeah, this is a VTO. VTO looks like a prediction. Prediction. If we got this, we can winning campaign. We can winning in local election. Okay. And this is about all participant in local context. Okay. This is all target. If I political candidates, I will use it. I know I must get 14. I must get this is to win in election. Why? Because if we get this, yeah, we can win election because we have expertise in mathematics model and politics, social and analyst expertise, combined with data to calculate how we can win in how we can win in election. This is local potential potensi elektoral. Di sini maksudnya itu potensi elektoral itu kira-kira seberapa banyak itu loh. Di sini kira-kira seberapa banyak yang akan memilih kita. Ini adalah jumlah suara yang harus kita dapat. This is just a demo. This is with dummy data. Okay. We have more feature looks like data politik or politics data. Politics data sebelumnya aja Mas. Sebelumnya. Politics data, we have landscape local context. Local context about how many voters in Bojonegoro. This is a demo about Bojonegoro di sini. How many people choose PKB or Awakening National Party? How many people choose Red Party? How many people choose Yellow Party, Blue Party, and so on? All data we get from National Commission election. Okay, and we calculate. We use mathematic models. We use prompting from politics and social expertise, and combined with expertise from IT engineering. And yeah, this is the result. The result is a dashboard about Pilkada.ai. And then the feature is about landscape social economic local. This is about landscape data about demographic, about local demographic, landscape demographic, and this is about program recommendation, how to politician, how to local candidate to do in if they meet constituent. This is about campaign communication. Campaign communication. What I'll say if the politician meet constituent. This is local issue. We have data based on social media, like such as Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and online news. Okay. Okay. Boleh coba. Nggak usah. Oke. 3 menit lagi. 2 menit, 3 menit. Oke. Isu Cakada in situ. Isu Cakada, this is news about candidate, information about who the candidate in local election in 20 and 24. This pemetaan elektoral like bisa ke next dulu. Next. Previous. Yeah. This is electoral this is electoral mapping, information about landscape in local, and then the next. Nah, previous nah. This is example about how to do it with their social media. Social media have get more impact, I know, can influence more voters if the candidate can make offer for make offer themselves for branding. Political, the politician can rebranding, can influence more, can influence could influence voters, although social media thing. Next mas, selanjutnya. Lanjutkan lagi. Next lagi. Okay. Okay, I think we need more discussion how to we use AI technology based on data driven, how to make our dashboard. I think it's very interesting. Okay, I hope it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Fauzi, for your insightful ideas. Before we move forward, both our online and on-site participants are welcome to ask questions. If you wish to do so, please raise your hand and I will invite you to share your question or thoughts with our panelists. We'll then respond accordingly. I will take 3 questions for the first session. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking, are we on the opposite side? Because he is helping politicians, and I am from CSO, I am from civil society. So we are always debunking disinformation from politicians.
We have discussed, no problem. We have discussed.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. My name is Faiz. Happy to join this panel here. And I think this panel is very interesting, especially with the topic addressed by Pak Rahmat.
Yeah.
And I think it's highly related with the morning session earlier about the AI and others. So
langsung jawab.
Yes. Next, yes, please.
Test. Okay. Hi. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to ask and participate in this panel. I have two questions, if I may. One for Ms. Samarchan and another for Pak Rahmat. For Ms. Samarchan, thank you for the presentation. I researched Indonesian fact checkers in the past, so your presentation is a particular interest of mine. In your slide, you mentioned one of the problem in Taiwan is the use of AI for political memes. So I was wondering your rationale and what your organization's reason to flag it as a political problem. I was just wondering how is those AI generated political memes different from Photoshop edited or other artistic generation? Why is it a problem for a fact checker? Because as you said, it's not completely about dichotomy between true or false, so you can fact check it. So I was wondering why is it a particular concern for the organization? And a follow-up question on that, I was wondering if you notice a difference between the actors who distribute the AI-generated content. Is there any difference between domestic actors and perhaps foreign actors, like Chinese actors perhaps? That's my question for you. And for Pak Rahmat, thank you for the presentation. I was most curious about in your slides where you display some charts. There is an interesting quote that says, anyone without a background in politics and limited understanding of the region's demographics has the opportunity to run for regional leader through this dashboard. I think it is quite interesting because it really expands who can run for election in that region. I was wondering about your organization vision and perhaps philosophy. So in terms of democratic deliberation, how that kind of vision, because from my understanding, a political leader needs to have a strong connection to the grassroots and the constituency, but from your slide it seems like there is a disconnect. The Pilkada.ai seems to create a disconnect between constituency and their political leader. So I was wondering about that sort of vision. Can you please explain it more? Okay. I hope I'm making sense. Thank you for.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm more curious from Ms. Chen. I'm curious regarding what is your definition by malicious actors? Because like sometimes, is it like do you define it as the one that hires them or utilize it? Because in utilizing, there will be like it is an open AI. Sometimes they use open AI. And by defining malicious actors, also do you see the vision that that the platform holder itself should be taken into consideration, should be responsible for their own creation, and also for Pak Rahmat, I think. What would the question would be like? I believe like between the data from open data, from the big data, from the data out there, to the data that you present in the platform, there will be like process of data cleaning. And okay. I believe, I assume, and I believe like the data cleaning itself must requires human intervention. Yeah. And I would like to ask, like, is there like I would like to ask, like, how do you guys from Pilkada AI, like regarding the data cleaning, and if there is any human intervention in the data cleaning itself, and like what kind of particular criteria, if you are willing to share, of course. And also, I would like to ask, like, what kind of criterion or criteria that you see the clients from Pilkada AI would be? Because it seems like you're trying to, the client itself kind of like everyone can be, everyone can be competitive in the electoral vote, so they need to do that? Or do you see that only for the candidates or only for the public? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. The two questions, I think both of the you point out what we concern and point out what our unsolved problem. And for the first question, why the AI mini clips matters, and we are pretty focused it. And what's the difference between the political means and the AI mini clips? I think the different thing is real, because it was floating on Reel, on Shorts, on TikTok, and it's not just short clip, short video. Before we will watch out YouTube video, but it's longer, and then we are watch out TikTok because it's shorter. But now the AI mini clips is even shorter, less than 60 seconds. And it's not exist independently. It's floating. It was mixed with news clips and influence clips. And then after I read that, I will see the AI generated AI mini clips. So they are mixed, but they have the same narrative. I don't know why, because I think it is maybe by the algorithm. So maybe our next investigation is testing how the algorithm help those the same narrative but different clip will showing at the same time. And also why it's a phenomena, because the number and the way they are telling story, it's not telling story anymore. They are just want trigger the emotion and trigger the anger or anxious. And because of this, you will get the audience will get a strong image or feeling, and the public discussion will lose the ground. We will lose the common ground to discussion policy, to discussion something more seriously. So that's why we are worried that it will be a threat in our democratic society. And why it's different from political meme? Actually, it's pretty similar to political meme, but it's more easy to cross the fiction line. And from sometimes it will has the partial facts, and it's emphasized that. But sometimes it will crossing it will turn to be on existing events or on existing content, and that it's kind of misleading or disinformation for a fact checker. But we can do nothing, because before, if it's a meme or it's an infographic or it's a news, it's a fake news, we can point it out and do the debunking. But it's AI and it's use simple symbols, so it's kind of, if we do the debunking, people will say it's a satire. You don't need to do any debunking. So that make a very gray zone for the researcher and for the fact checkers. So that's another things we are worried about. And also they produced is easily by Chinese AI tools like Jimeng, Doubao, and lots of Chinese tools, and it's easy to produce and no cost. They can just make like a DeepSeek, they can make the prompt and then create the photo and make the photo vivid, and they can use CapCut to spreading it on Reel, Shorts, and TikTok. And I think when they produce the one clip, it's just take maybe less than 10 minutes. And so we can see the different account, they will reproduce it and share it in different platform and among the different accounts. So for a researcher, that's a huge challenge for us to study how do they produce them and what's their intention, what's the narrative. They can change the narrative based on the events, news events every day with low cost. But the researcher need do a lot of things to test them. So I think it's compare the producing process. I think the researcher and the fact checker will facing the difficulty and the challenge to research them. And how do we know they are who is the actors? I think at this time, at this point, it's pretty hard to tell who is the actor. We need to do more study to measure the whole picture of the actor. So we are not sure. We can say it's malicious actor, but we can say those actor has already adapt a new form, adapt the new AI tools to generate so many contents with numbers and with low cost. So that's a new stage or a new phenomena we are so worried about. So I think it's the starting point. We do the investigation and we need to think more, because we for the Indonesia election, for the Philippines and the Indonesia election, we has already seen a very, very obvious case how the politicians use the AI technology to do the propaganda. And for the Taiwan's case, we see the other way. For those two cases, it's taxing and positive image. But this way is taxing but negative image. But we can see how they use how those actors use them so efficiently. So I think we are facing the challenge. And from Taiwan's case, it's just another one of the phenomena. Yes, thank you for your question. That's a pretty good question.
Thank you. Okay. I have 3 until 4 questions. I think difficult to answer and hardest, but I will try. If Ms. Chen give warning and worries about deepfake, yeah, I agree. But we can utilize AI or video generative for everything to gain good something. I think. If you know Bruno Latour have a book, The Love of Technology. The Love of Technology is about train Aramis. This is about the story about how to society developing the technology and love technology, and after this, society, citizen hate the technology. I hope, it's my point. Let's not be like that, okay, in AI context. Okay. I think any further question about deepfakes, about how to we choose a candidate, how to train the data, and question apa lagi? Satu lagi tadi tentang apa, Mbak? Saya lupa. Ya, soal apa tadi saya agak lupa, mohon maaf.
What criteria do you use?
Kriteria and kriteria klien. Oke. Oke. Kriteria about deepfake video generative AI and how to train. Okay, and how to we cleaning the data. Okay. Okay. I'm coming here with my co-author. This is, we can explain about data or maybe video generative. He is Krishna Engineering.
Okay, thank you, Rahmat. Please permit me to answer to support my colleagues. Okay, thank you. Okay, good afternoon, my distinguished colleagues and lecturer. Before I answer, let me give in short a short greetings from me to Mas Gafar and Mbak Pipit. So yeah, I remember I'm also from Visipol UGM, but I remind from my previous years, so it's very honored to in this panel. So let me support my colleagues to answer several questions here. Okay, well, before I try to explain further to your details questions. First of all, that to be clear that Pilkada AI exists in terms to give solutions for improving the democracy. That's the big idea for the first. What terms of democracy first? So we try to observe that our democracy in currently is an expensive democracy, or there are many costs that Rahmat also shows. There's some statistic data from Home Affairs, like expenses for the budget for campaign. Is it around 20 billion to 100 billion in a single run? I mean, it's a lots of budget and it's a lots of expenses that not be quite monitored, calculated. See, I want to stress out the point of Rahmat that many of the candidates or the political actor, they don't rely on data. They only rely on their intuition, their power, and only based on their relatives or networks. So the budget expenses for the political campaign, it's kind of but sporadic, not monitored well. You can imagine that the budget cost expenses gone by leaked and not monitored well. So from that, we try to develop some solutions in terms of the cost with combining with AI generative. Like that. With generating AI, we believe that even though the investment quite high, but in the operational, if we can scale the market, it can reduce the cost for the users. I make my point that this is also aligned with your question. I think that democratizing the AI, what is like the previous plenary point out, that the point to democratizing AI in our platform is to give access to political actors that don't have much modalities in their region. This is aligned to the question, where is the connection about many of candidates can run for politics, for campaign? Because I want to stress out that this dashboard, we conduct and design the system as tailored until micro-targeting constituency. I mean, it can be more localized contexts, it can be more tailored outputs and generated outcomes. Let's say some of the region that mentioned it is, for example, Bojonegoro. Well, the dashboard can break down until the DPT level, until the TPS level. See, so the newbie candidates can understand with AI that been generated the local contexts. So we believe that political actors that doesn't have modalities with accompanied with AI, they can perform well, like that. So this is why we want to make this platform is more inclusively for political actors to access this platform with the approximate budget, not have a big budget. They can also run a campaign like that. Even though that we know that the phenomena in the political context, real in the field, is still not pro to the poor. I mean that not many privileges in the political context that they must have, like they have a connection in the previous regent or previous leaders, but also we want to stress out that they can access the platform inclusively, like that. So let me break down the question. If maybe some of the question had two answers, like the democratizing AI to I'm sorry, what's your name? Yes. Yeah, I hope it's answered you. And then I want to move to data ownership and generative AI. Is it your question? Okay, let me answer. So it runs like this. The candidates gathered information from open source data. The open source data, in terms aside from the source that mentioned oleh from Rahmat, we also gathered from the social media. Now, as we know, or even though several of you don't know, the regulatory platform from the social media is actually opening their data to public and for business. For instance, if you create a new account, there always in the first page a TNC that you will proceed this, you will open your data to public for business and research, or academic. So in the industry, they sell it actually, but this is not what do we say? Yeah, we cannot say that it's still your data because it's consent, like that. So the regulated platform is been over a decade producing these services, and the private sectors try to optimize it in a better way to make added value, such as these platforms, like that. So the permission is open, the permission is public, and not using any personal data of users, like that. That's to answer the data ownership. And then the deepfakes AI, I think it's related into this forum also. The features that generative AI in our platform recently not been deployed yet. I mean, we still discussing and improving several circumstances that we consider the most, that are many ethical challenges, there are ethical concerns, so that if it produce, it only restricted to greetings only, greetings to greet their constituent. Let's say, for example, many of the candidates greet their constituent in district, only in several limitation like that, not overt, even though to produce deepfakes or black campaign or negative issues. We consider the most that this is must align in the systems, this is must align in the prompt, particularly, like that. So I hope it answered for the Gen AI, generative videos. And maybe last is the client criteria, isn't it? Well, in particularly this Pilkada AI services, we delivers to political candidates or political actors. I mean, for the former general election campaigns, which is a head executive potential candidates, or legislative also, like that. So we limited the criteria of the client. Is it that what you mean? Yeah, okay. So we already predefine some categories that maybe relate to these services. So I think that, well, I think it's already answered, but the thing is that I want to support my colleagues, Rahmat, that the spirit of Pilkada AI is want to improve the quality of democracy, because we believe if the democracy is expensive, it's not aligned in the quality of the democracy. So it must be inclusive. So I think if the with low modalities of politics can run for campaign also, I think it's a good point in the campaign setting, like that. Okay, so my last point is that Pilkada AI willing to reduce cost to be more effective or efficient also, and transparent, because all the data can be monitored in the dashboard, and then the outcomes of the generative AI inside can be more tailored to constituent, so it can be more resonate to their constituent in more localized contexts. And then the last one, we hope that with low modalities, political actor can improve their political strategy with our platforms. Well, to be close, that enough for me. So if Rahmat want to add some points? Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, Miss. Thank you, Miss.
Due to time constraints, I sincerely apologize for not being able to take any additional questions. So please, once again, let's give a round of applause for Ms. Chen.
May I just share our research paper meeting?
Okay. Next, we are pleased to welcome Michelle Anindia, who will deliver a presentation on giving democracy, AI, buzzers, and the limits of democracy. Michelle, please proceed with your presentation.
Okay. Hi. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It'll be fairly short from me, I hope. So this is a short research paper that I'm co-authoring with my friend Pradeepa Rasidi. Maybe you can say wave to everyone. So in here we're going to be talking about buzzers operations and also social media governance, and we're going to take a look at how buzzers use AI, or maybe also not using AI, and how it basically helps their business, but also how there's a mutual beneficial relationship between buzzers and social media platforms as well. So it's not just that buzzers are, they're not needed by the social media platform, but there's actually like a relationship between the two sides that are mutually beneficial. So can we press next? So there are a few questions that I think we want you to take a look at. So the first one is, why do buzzers proliferate on one platform more than another? So we're gonna take a look at whether there are certain social media platforms where there are more buzzers than another, or maybe there are more buzzers outside the social media platforms. And then what is it that makes some social media platforms more attractive to buzzers? What are the key components, the key user, UX, UI designs, and also how transformative is Gen AI within the production of mis and disinformation? Okay, so this is a public forum. It's called Something Awful. It's a public forum, and maybe it's something similar to like Reddit or Quora or Yahoo Answers and Discord also. So it's not quite like a social media, but there are some similarities. But we can see here that in the public forum, this is the first page. So the first page, and the way it's structured is that you can take a look at the different sections of the website, and then also the different discussions within the website. So underneath here we see discussions, there's video games, and then underneath there's like cars, music, sports, whatever. So as users, you're more proactive to choose whatever topics you want, and then you can click on it, and then from there there's threads, which means that there's like a smaller discussion pieces that you can join in. Okay, so can we go to the next slide? So this is the first 3 slides of TikTok from my account, but it's a burner account. So this is Pak Jokowi, pengajian di kediaman Pak Jokowi malam ini. Okay, that's the first slide. Then the second slide, you immediately see it's a fake AI post, because it's like 2 naked kids, boys coming out of a cave. So it's obviously fake. And then there's like a advertisement. So it's already a completely different structure and completely different layout from the public forum that we saw before. So in here, you're given the feed, you're given the content is being pushed to you. You don't really have any options to navigate into different contents, there's really only like one way you can go through this different contents by scrolling. So maybe we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so if we want to look at the similarities and differences, can we go to the before slide, the previous slide again? So there are distinct differences in here, for sure. One of them is how the topics are structured. You know, as I said before, with the public forums, the audience, users have more agency to actually go through different discussions, whereas on social media, you have less of that. It's also, with public forums, it's also more chronologically structured, so you can see from the latest discussions all the way to the previous ones. Whereas on social media, it's a lot more random. It's a lot more random, and I believe also on TikTok, you can see posts that are way, way, way old. So like 1 year or maybe even 2 years older, it can just immediately pop up back to the newsfeed. So it's already a different structures, and with social media, it's also structures around your followers and also around people you follow. So you can see, like, you can click the friends there, and then you can see what your friends are watching. So it's already like a very different structure, but it has some similarities in the sense that it's based on content, it's based on user engagements. You know, like with public forums, if there's no engagements, there's no discussions, there's no public forums. So it has the same, fairly similar basic materials, but it has totally different packaging. And you can create a narrative in a way. You can create discussions in both type of platforms, but present it in a very different way. Okay, next slide. So obviously we can see, I think the answer will be pretty obvious if you want to ask where do buzzers proliferate. It is definitely more in the social media side and not in the forum side. And there's some key design elements for that. Next. Okay, so if we want to imagine like the public forums and the social medias, the features that are very distinctive from those two models is that with the social medias, there's a lot more buttons in a way, a lot more buttons that really prompt you to react, that are designed for you to engage impulsively without you thinking. So I find this note, I think this is a really cool and interesting artifact. This is from 2005. So this is a piece of note made by Bob Goodson. He's like I think he's an employer at Yelp. Yelp is a food reviewer program from USA. So this is in 2005. The design challenge that they were working at that time, and not just Yelp, but also a lot of other tech platforms, is that how do you make users more engaged in your platforms? How do you make users more reactive without leaving a single page? So they want to create as much activity as possible for users to do in one page, and they don't have to go through multiple hoops of pages, or they don't have to go through different pages just to like something, which is what tend to happen with public forums in the past. So what I think is very interesting is that they know that this is a big issue, they know that it's a big problem, or like an interesting problem that they had, like already back in early 2000s. But you can also see the notes here that thumbs up 15, thumbs down 3, liked it, good review, option on find reviews, best of Yelp. So just from these buttons, there's already a significant implications in terms of the design thought process, and also the things that the company can do with the amount of the data that they gathered just from this one button. Reputation system. So there's a lot of things that they can pull out just from this little snippets of data that they take from you. And basically, to put it short, they can sell that to advertisers. So, you know, this is something that's now is really deeply ingrained and really deeply embedded in the social media infrastructure. It's kind of hard to imagine they exist. They exist without these elements. But I think I want everyone here to think that this is something that's very intentionally designed, and it's very intentionally designed with a very specific purpose in mind. Okay, so the problem is in content is really the algorithm. So maybe we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so a lot of the times when we talk about misinformation or disinformation or content or Gen AI, we focus a lot on the content side itself. And I think it's actually good for us to pull back a little bit and start scrutinizing again about the social media platforms itself, because you know, like all of this content, they thrive. They're built on top of the social media platforms that are and algorithms that are already very problematic in the first place. So okay, next. Yeah. Can you go to next again? Yeah. Okay. Previous. Malik? Okay, yeah, so power platform industry, John Lindquist. So with social media platforms, you know, they don't exist in isolation. Of course they need users, they need advertisers, they need businesses, but they also need this industry that kind of works to inflate engagements in a way. We call them buzzers, but you know, all of these businesses, they're like formal and semi-formal. So this one called Social Media Booster Indonesia, you can easily find them online, you know, and then they sell their products, selling for certain links for harga per 1,000 berapa Rp20. So all of these industries, they exist. They're illicit. They exist, and it's something that the social media platforms also need because it's really hard to actually sustain the business model itself without the inflated engagement. Okay, next. Okay, so this inflated engagement by buzzers that has existed for many years. So this is a very interesting article from 2021. Facebook knew a key ad metric was inflated and misleading for years, lawsuit alleges. So I think this is a very interesting article because it shows that Facebook is actually very much aware of this. Facebook reform, according to Nudis Hydromos, the lawsuit alleges that the problems with the metric known as potential reach were largely due to fake and duplicate accounts, but Facebook chose not to remove those accounts. So according to internal documents cited in the lawsuit, the product manager suggested changes to potential reach that would have decreased its numbers, but Facebook managers rejected the idea because the revenue impact would be significant. Next. So this is the potential reach. So sometimes we talk about this, but it's kind of hard to imagine what they actually are or what they actually look like. So if you have a business and then you wanna sell, you wanna buy ads, so you wanna push sponsor a post. Sponsor a post, you put money into it, and then you can see the in the Facebook seller platform. You can sort of gauge like how many reach your post is going to be, like depending on how much money you put into it. So in here you can see the audience definition. Your audience selection is fairly broad. Potential reach 252 million people. So it's an estimate, when we're clear how it's calculated or how it's but advertisers often decide how much to spend on advertising. So yeah, this is basically a number that the lawsuit alleges that this potential reach is basically based on a lot of fake accounts. Okay, so next. So that's in 2021, but it's still an ongoing issue with Facebook too. Supreme Court let 7 billion Meta ad fraud case proceed, and this is just early this year in 2025. So the big picture is advertisers allege Meta fraudulently inflated its potential reach numbers by up to 400% by counting multiple accounts belonging to the same users. So millions of individuals and businesses could be part of the class. So this is an issue this is not something that's just hurting users, but also hurting businesses and hurting advertisers and sellers. Next. Okay. So far we haven't talked about AI, but this is a pretty simplified look, I think, about how buzzers use AI. So this is one of the buzzer office in Jakarta. So you can see that this is one person. There's 10 cell phones next to him. So all of these 10 phones, they're attached to a platform. I think the platform is called Total Connect. And in front of the guy, there are 2 monitors. Each one has 5 screen photos. And he can just click love on that photo, and all of the mobile phones will register that immediately. So it's just a way to speed up, with 10 different accounts. So with generative AI, there are several ways that buzzers use them. But at least in this case, in this office in Jakarta that we found, like all of the way that they're using AI is still quite simplified in a way. But maybe we can go to the next step. Yeah, so this is for an examples, like one of the ways buzzers or content creators usually use AI. So it's obviously a fake image. I mean, I think you can quite tell that, with some of this generative AI videos, photos, there's some quality about it that's like very AI. This is a woman in Bali basically getting upset about a lot of foreigners building villas. Next. Okay. So this is also another way buzzers use AI. There's a lot of posts like this that I've been seeing. So Raffi Ahmad is the person, and then there's like a fake voice, like a fake audio generated voice, and saying that there's this much amount of money, and they're basically trying to promote like an online gambling platforms. Next. So one thing that we found pretty interesting with the Buzzer Group is that they actually had almost every day they said that they have 50 accounts that are banned by TikTok. So TikTok banned bot accounts every day, 50 accounts. So they have to make new ones every single day. So one of their main job is actually just to make new accounts. And can you maybe play that? Yeah, so this is ChatGPT, and then they're asking ChatGPT, prompting ChatGPT to with a prompt saying like Jakarta, bio Jakarta, anak aesthetic, and then it will generate some names, maybe not a real names, hopefully, some names and then some short bios, and that's how they usually use it in their bio for each different account. And they usually will take images from photos of actual people, but not from Indonesia, so from Southeast Asia, from Philippines or Malaysia, Singapore. They'll steal those images online, and they will put that into a GenAI platform and change it a little bit, and then they will use that to build new accounts. So what we find so far is that all of this use of GenAI is still, in a way, still quite rudimentary, but not to say that it's not dangerous, because although how they use AI is still very much to expedite the process, especially as TikTok or other social media platforms try to ban their accounts, and they need to make new ones, and they need to keep that platforms alive. They need to keep posting every single day, whether or not there's a specific campaign that they're trying to do. But the fact that they are very tech savvy and they're very aware that running a bus driver business is also very expensive, and it's one of the things that the owner also told us is that they're trying to cut costs, and one of the ways they can cut costs is by implementing AI in their workflow. So yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen much where it has been very transformative in his own process, but it's definitely something that is used, that facilitated work every day. Okay, next. Yeah, so what we're trying to say is that the Gen AI and the use of Gen AI by buzzers and content creators, it kind of sits on top of a framework and a platform that is already problematic in the first place. So I think with the conversations about democracy and Gen AI, I think we also need to look at not just the content itself, but also the framework and the infrastructure in general that is already, that's really deeply embedded, and that's this content creators is like trying to make the most of. Okay. Next. Okay. So this is another public forum. It's called Something Awful. It's called Plurk, and it's already established since 2008. So we just want to show you like another platform that's based chronologically, that gives users actually more agency to find topics, to engage in discussions, and rather than being spoon-fed different contents every single time. So this is, you can see that it's more chronologically ordered, and you can see the different threads within it. Okay. Next. All right. So yeah. So this is, again, this is not to say that that Gen AI won't be transformative at all to content creation or make misinformation or disinformation much worse. This is one of the most convincing, realistic Gen AI photo for me that I've found. It's super realistic with how they're trying to like zoom in and zooming out, and yeah, so it's definitely something that, like Gen AI, we can definitely say that it's something that can look very fake in a way, and it's obviously made by Gen AI, or it's maybe something that's very realistic, and we'll definitely see that proliferates in the near future. But we wanna urge everyone also to take a look at the infrastructure in general and see that the infrastructure is not being scrutinized enough, and it's still very much there. Okay. Yep. All right, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michelle and India, for your eye-opening presentation. A general reminder from the committee, you can use the barcode on your name tag to get the materials you need.
Thank you. Let me try oh, it works. Good afternoon, everyone. I will make this presentation really short because it's really late in the afternoon, and the last thing you want is listening to someone talking about nonsense. So my presentation is about Gen AI and democratic resilience in Southeast Asia. This is just a short introduction about myself. My name is Abdul Ghaffar Karim. from this very faculty. I'm from the Department of Politics and Government. And in this session, I'm going to take you to look at the and beyond elections moment. Although I'm going to talk about elections at first, but I'm going to ask you to look the things beyond elections and look at how the things are really going on in the electoral process with regard to the AI. So they have the pointers. So we are going to look at the everyday life of democracy, where the real battle is no longer just about votes, but about the truth, trust, and the integrity of informations. We have been talking about the deepfake. I'm not going to talk about that in more details, but I can tell you that internet, and for that matter, the AI, are not created for democratic purposes. They are created for non-democratic purposes. They are, in a sense, not democratic tools. Internet and AI are just tools, not democratic tools. It can be used to promote democracy, but it can also be used to destroy democracy. In a way, it can be a new arena, a battle arena for the state and the society. And this is how it works. If you are a society, if you are part of the society, you want more space. That's what you want, don't you? You want more space. You want more opportunity to say what you are going to say. You need more channels to voice your interest. But if you are part of the state, you want less of that. If you are part of the society, you want more voices, even noises. But if you are part of the state, you want silence. All you want is silence. That happens. If you are academics, you encourage your students to be democratic. But if you are academic and turn into minister, for example, you want the society to be silent. Happens. It's not just theoretically speaking. I witnessed that everywhere. So once again, my point is that the internet and the AI technology are not designed specifically for democratic purposes. They are just tools. You can be democratic with AI, you can be non-democratic with AI. So let's have a look at this fact. We have, I call it the super elections in Southeast, in Asia and Pacific. We have elections throughout the year, starting in January 2024 to November 2024, with starting with the Taiwan presidential elections in January, and we have also Bangladesh legislative elections, Pakistan, and then we have Indonesia on the 14th of February, on the Valentine's Day of 2024. We have the first simultaneous elections, where we elected the president and the member of legislative bodies in February. And then following up this line, in November 2024, we elected, it's not presidential election, it's the local, sorry about the typo. So what happened is during this election, we witnessed the deepfake content. I don't want to talk about this issue again because the previous presenters have dealt with this in the greater details. We have disinformation campaigns. In Indonesia, we witnessed many ways of like you mentioned earlier, the buzzer mechanism of producing not only fake content, but also manipulative content to manipulate the political situations. The result from democratic perspective is the breakdown in our collective ability to distinguish fact from fictions. I remember that some of the researchers in this faculty did some serious effort to make sure that people understand how to distinguish fact from fictions, to tell which one is hoax, which one is the reality. So this is what we have in 2024, and I'm going to look at the issue from political science perspective, and I use these 4 seminal works to frame the Gen AI phenomenon. There are these thinkers some of them are very famous in political science. We have Anne Applebaum, we have Stefan Levitsky and Loken Wei. They are famous for the book How Democracies Die, and also Laura Gamboa. Let's look at their works very quickly. Anne Applebaum wrote 2 books both are on the autocracy. First is The Twilight of Democracy, the seductive lure of authoritarianism. She is talking about how authoritarianism become, very interesting for politicians. It's easier to run authoritarian government rather than democracy, because democracy is tiring. Democracy is expensive. Democracy, give the politicians some headache. But authoritarianism is easier to run. And later, she wrote The Autocracy in Corporations. One of the books, or both of the books, has been translated to Bahasa Indonesia. Basically, what we can subtract from these books is the argument that information manipulation is the ultimate weapon of modern autocracy. You need to be a good liar to be an autocrat leader. These days, people are talking about the big lies of our previous president, and the possible lies of the next president. So it's always the information manipulations. In daily life we call it big lies, dusta besar, but it's more like information manipulations. They are not lying, they just manipulate the informations. They manipulate the way you think. And this is the ultimate weapon of the modern autocracy. The second work, or the third, because I was talking about the first and the second the work, is a shorter article written by Levitsky and Wei, entitled "The Democracy's Surprising Resilience." Their argument is that democratic resilience depends on elite cohesion and civil mobilizations. And to me, both things are vulnerable to Gen AI synthetic content, the deepfake content manipulation, etc. Because civil mobilization can be easily done through the buzzer mechanism, for example, social media. So this is the third work that I review in greater detail in my paper. And the last one is Laura Gamboa. Laura Gamboa wrote a book called Resisting Backsliding. She talked about, there has been notion about democracy backsliding among the political scientists, that democracy is even on a U-turn, going back to authoritarianism. But then Laura Gamboa noticed that there are some way of resisting that backsliding. And one of her argument is that stronger and consolidated political opposition is the key. This is not very surprising. When you are studying political science, you understand that opposition is the key in democracy. But what is interesting is that democracy survives only when opposition and civil society can build collective strategies against information disruptions. And this is really important for the Gen AI discussion. So these are the 4 seminal works. And this is just general conclusion how we can use these works to understand Gen AI. My argument at Gen AI accelerates democratic decay beyond electoral moments. It undermines everyday democracy, public participations, policy discourse, and institutional trust. Now, my argument is information integrity must become the backbone of democratic resilience. The integrity of informations, the genuinity of information is very important, because otherwise, the very problem is that people cannot trust democratic institutions anymore. Today, the Vice Minister of Manpower was arrested by KPK. only a few months ago, many people will believe that this very person, the vice minister, is, the democratic fighter. But only after a couple of months after being a vice minister, then he was arrested by the corruption, anti-corruption commission. Have you followed the news today? All right, so yeah, that's the problem. Now, I just want to mention a research that I conducted with some partner institutions in 2024. I look at the civil society resilience. I look at how CSO, civil society organizations, face some problems and how they try to solve the problem. There are some issues. First, there are legal repressions against the civil society organizations. There are some restrictions, law restrictions against the civil society. You can be easily, we were talking about the criminalizations of whistleblower, for example. That happens everywhere. There are some issues about funding availability, because many NGOs, many CSO are very dependent on external funding. And today, the government is very restrictive. Foreign fund, dana asing, can no longer fund some activities. For example, if you are foreign institutions and you cannot work on Papuan issues, you cannot fund any activities on Papua. Papua is the easternmost province of Indonesia, still under some conflicting issues. The government also controls very closely when you are managing fund on the issues of human rights, for example. It's not easy for some CSO to find necessary funding. There are some internal fragmentation in the society, and this is very typical when the civil society is not consolidated while the state is consolidated through many ways, including, well, for example, just a couple of days ago, the take-home payment of the parliamentary members of Indonesia has confirmed to be, more than 100 million. This is one of the example how the state actors consolidate to each other by providing some resources to each other. And also, there are some deepfake attacks that give some misleading information for the society and also about the civil society organization and other things that has been discussed earlier in this session. My research confirmed all the previous presenters have mentioned. Also, from my previous research in 2024, there are some fragmented response among the civil society when they are facing the state efforts to limit their spaces. And there are some issues. I'm not going to deal with it in details in the sessions. We can do that if we have time in the question and answers. But there are some hope. I noticed that there are some hope, although there has been some, not so good news, but we can see some hopes that, for example, this is just 3 examples of some hopes that can be found everywhere. For example, some initiatives in Indonesia shows that civil society is adapting. They try to adapt to new situations. Some platforms provide verification services, digital literacy training, and collaborative spaces for countering disinformation. And I guess we are today for that very reason. So there are still hopes. In Taiwan, good thing I picked Taiwan because you are here. The government startup collaboration enables rapid response to AI threats, demonstrating that public-private partnership can be effective. I don't know if you can confirm that later. And also in the Philippines, for example, a coalition brings together journalists, technologists, and activists to build a resilient information ecosystem. I think the Pemilu AI Pilkada AI also do the same thing here. I should mention Pilkada AI here. So this is the hope, and I believe there are 3 strategic pillars for Indonesia to solve the problem. I will quickly mention this. First, empowering the regulations, protect activists and promote transparency. We need to have a formal regulations to protect criticism against the government. And this is very vulnerable for the civil society. We need to make sure that we have financial independence. As long as you are dependent to the state, then you will have, you will not have the capacity to be independent in, criticizing the state. Also, regional collaboration is very important. We need to collaborate with other elements of civil society across, for example, across Asia Pacific, or at least across Southeast Asia. Also, today we have a discussion with the members of parliament from across the Southeast Asian countries, and the new, if you come to Gajah Mada University, you can see the big black building called Gelanggang Inovasi Kebijakan. We had the events there today and yesterday. So it's about regional collaborations. And this will transform us from the vulnerable civil society into a resilient civil society. So in conclusion, I can say that democracy does not die overnight. Democracy only fades. But democracy fades when truth is blurred, civil society narrows, and institutions lose legitimacy. We need to put civil society in the center of information integrity. We need to build a collaborative ecosystem, prioritize truth as democratic oxygen. Information integrity is not a technical issue, it is a democratic imperative. So thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak. Back to you. Thank you.
Okay, let's give applause again for Dr. Gafar. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Gafar, for your enlightening presentation.
Best. All right, let me introduce myself. My name is Cesa Malinda. I am from Universitas Cendekia Mitra Indonesia. I have a question. This is for Pak Gafar. The question is, how can we be sure that AI, which is controlled by powerful corporations and governments, will truly strengthen democratic resilience, when in reality it can spread misinformation faster than truth and silently act as a digital gatekeeper, deciding what citizens are allowed to know? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Siprianus Lidik Krismantoro Putro. I come from Mafindo, Masyarakat Anti Fitnah Indonesia, and also part of the Asia Pacific Justice and Peace Worker. So, I don't know, I feel a very deep sad here to watch all your presentation, and I think we face a very difficult condition, how to keep this democratic value alive among us. So I believe that democracy must be based on the investment of the values within society, within the people, with the heart of the people. And now we are facing very fast development. The velocity of the AI development is uncontrolled even by state itself. And so we no longer invest some values to the society. So I think if we believe that our future is depend on how we build this trustable society, this value-based society, we have in the very deep concern about how we can reinvest the values within society in this condition. So can both of you help me to make this more clear, and I have more hope to face that. Thank you.
Hello, my question is for Dr. Ghaffar. I'm Radi from the Jakarta Post. Thank you so much for your presentation. It's interesting because I also just read an article how, Bu Sri Mulyani just confirmed that something that she said is deep fake actually. So I think it's very topical. And you said that this goes beyond electoral moments. But I'm curious, seeing that in the future we're going to have an election like in 4 years, or considering the campaign that's going to be in 3 years maybe, how dire or how pressing, how grave do you think our race is against the rapid development of AI? Because I would imagine that the stuff that we see that we can realize is AI might not be distinguishable at all in just a couple of months or years from now. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Just quick comment. There are 3 questions, but I guess it's related to each other. How can we be sure that AI will strengthen democratic resilience, and how to reinstate the original value? I want to go back to my very first argument that AI is not in itself a democratic tools. It's just a tools, like knives or weapons. It's tools that can be used for both good and bad things. So it comes back to who use the weapons, the man behind the gun or the woman behind the gun. So it depends on how we use that. Another point that I should mention, I also mentioned this in my paper, that AI is still in the very early stage, not only in its development, but also in our own familiarity with AI. Most of us are not very familiar, let alone comfortable with AI. Let me give you an example from educational perspective. We are here in university, not all of us are comfortable with the use of AI. For some lecturers, AI, it's strongly forbidden things to do. The students cannot use AI. Well, I don't believe that students don't use AI. Even I use AI in developing the paper. But I mentioned that in the last part of the paper, that I developed this paper from my own idea, and I used the help from Copilot, DeepSeek, Consensus, and then I use AI to smoothen my language with Killbot and Grammarly. So I use AI. Every day I use AI with at least Google Maps. It's also an AI, and it's really helpful. It tells me which road is less crowded, but it's still my decision which way to go. So my point is that AI is still new, both as a technology and for the usage. And it's typical, if there is something new, the first thing to happen is the bad things. Let us be honest, when you first time have access to internet, most of you, probably open some pornographic content. Always bad things. Or probably some of you busy with, online shopping, not information searching, for example. So, although my paper mentioned something not so optimistic about Gen AI so far, I don't mean that it cannot be good in the future. I believe that we will adjust. I believe that as the case of Indonesia has shown us that people will adapt to the new situation. I believe in a social equilibrium that we will eventually be able to use the AI for democratic purposes. The key is in our willingness as civil society to use it to claim the right for information, for example, to claim the right to voice our criticism toward the government. And there are many lists of things to do, but my point is I believe that we can reinstate the democratic value in the future once we are really familiar with generative AI. I think that's my comment.
Okay, yeah, maybe this is also another short comment in response to you about value, and I quite like the way you frame it, that this isn't just about, it's not just about political content, it's also about the everyday value that's really eroding. And you can definitely see that in the content itself, content on social media platforms. And, with bad shit content, they've always existed. I think they've always existed for a long time. With Instagram, I think I've always seen, ads every one or every two posts now, like maybe in the last few years. But the thing is, we also get habituated with it, so we don't really question it, and we as an individual, we don't really question it, and we just accepted all of these changes. So I think it also, other than policy level, of course, it also needs to work on very much on an individual level as well, because, like at the end of the day, like we're the ones that are interacting with the platforms. And these platforms, they make it really easy for you to interact and to engage with the program. So in other words, like when you're within the platform, you don't think, So it's really designed for you not to think. So it's really designed for you to be dumb, to mind-numbing to you. So, this is not just about Gen AI. I think this is also about how social media platforms work in general. I think almost all of them are like that. And I think I very much agree that it's a really bad design, and I hope it's something that we can continue to scrutinize all together, not just isolate Gen AI, but to see the infrastructure as a whole. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, let's give applause for Dr. Zafar and Indra. As we approach the conclusion of today's panel discussion, I would like to extend an invitation to the speakers, all the speakers, yes, to gather here for their closing remarks, for both the in-person attendees and those participating online first, and then for a formal group.
I'm so glad to be here. So after my presentation, we mentioned about the AI disinformation was just a very old, just like the professor showed the leaking blanket, so we can fix the problem. And we are trying to find the new methodology and the new strategy to counter AI was used in information operation. And so the journalists the investigation report was give me a very impression idea how the past use the AI how use the AI to conduct the information. So we are kind of in different angle to investigate the same phenomena. So I'm so glad here to hear different investigation and thinking the same thing. And thank you, the professor, give us the whole picture and the new idea to find the new strategy.
Okay, for me, AI is a technology. AI could be not replace human tests. And then I'm glad, I'm happy in here we can discuss about AI in Jogja. Thanks for your advice for us. And then I think AI is a tool and we can train AI like a little baby. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I think, you know, with our public and private life is already really merged. I think it's also important to see how, to criticize ourselves too, and to see how we engage with social media platforms in our everyday life. So, vote not just, there's a saying, you vote with your money, but also with social media, you vote with your time. So I think you also need to be mindful of that too.
Thank you. If you say that there is no such thing as a free lunch, we can also say that there is no such thing as a free democracy. You need to pay for democracy. The harder you work, the better your lunch. The harder you work, the better the democracy. And the work hard for democracy is to build civil society resilience, and we need to make use of the Gen AI to strengthen civil society resilience. Thank you.